In the beginning, God called a group of people in the city of Lancaster, in the county of Fairfield, to ignite another lamp with the light of Christ. While knowing it was not the only lamp, nor even the best luminary, that first group believed Jesus was calling them. They believed the lamp of the vineyard was needed in order to shine more of the brilliance of Christ into gloom that pervades too many souls. Too many people are chased by shadows, imprisoned by sins, regrets, fears, and wounds. But this group believed the Spirit of the Sovereign Lord had wooed them, indeed even anointed them, to release the captive, bring joy, heal wounds, and shine light. This is the story of the first glimmer of light Jesus gave the Lancaster Vineyard. It is the story of why those first lamp bearers answered the call, of what they saw Jesus accomplish, and why they are still adding their light to the collective light called the Vineyard.
So here we are at Lancaster Vineyard in our cafe having a conversation with some of the people who were here just since really the early days, some from 20 years ago, some from 19 years ago, right? So, which is pretty cool. So in I don't know, late 96, Christy and I started feeling like we were to pray about some changes of where we were at, and wasn't sure what that meant. Didn't think it would mean a move, actually. But through that process in 1997, felt like we were called back home to Fairfield County and to plant this church. And so as we prayed about it, we knew the very first people we wanted to talk to be our kind of partners in crime was Jay and Amy. And so I can't remember exactly when, but it was sometime later in 97, we came up, I think, to the firehouse, actually. You were on duty, and just shared with you that we thought we were supposed to come back and plant a vineyard, and would you guys pray about being a part of it? So what do you all remember, maybe from either from that day or just even through the next few weeks of thinking and pondering about, what this would be like or what it means? What were you feeling, as we talked to you about that?
I think both of us, I don't want to speak for you, but both of us were very excited. We'd been to Wasion, to Oasis, and we knew that's what, and we had even said, if it wasn't 3 hours away, that's where we'd go to church. I would drive, but not 3 hours. So we were both very excited because we knew that's what you were wanting. That's what you were bringing to the table. And so we were excited about that. But at the same time, it was, because you had said something then about it being a vineyard. And so it was, we're really excited. Why has it got to be a vineyard?
Right.
Yeah, because we were unfamiliar with the movement at that point, and as we'd heard
good and bad.
Yeah. And so at the time, we just hadn't had that experience yet. So we just were like, why vineyard? But we were talking about that the turning point was, we went to the regional conference shortly after you guys decided to come, in that first regional conference in Cincinnati. And the biggest thing throughout that whole time was the regional pastors and the national leaders had a Q&A time, and the questions that were asked, and it was pretty much open mic time, and it was really impressive to see the national leaders just be really genuine, and when they didn't have an answer, they wouldn't give a pat answer kind of thing, and it was genuine, and it really was like, we walked out of that.
It was refreshing.
Yeah. We walked out of that saying, yeah, this is what we want to be a part of.
What kind of fears? I know we were all young then. We're young now, but we were really young then. Any fears or trepidation that you had? Or were we so young we didn't have fear?
I think I was too dumb and naive to have fear.
Yeah. Hey, we're doing this. Let's go.
It's like, if it fails, whatever. Yeah. And you just,
We didn't know. Yeah. We knew that we wanted it.
Yeah. I think there was so much excitement and so much anticipation to see God move in such a new way that the fear just wasn't there. It was, let's go for it and see what God's going to do.
Right.
I remember every Sunday, the prayer was, we can't do this, God. And he never failed us. And he was always there. And even though we didn't have the abilities and the talents and the skills to do what we wanted to do and make it be what we wanted it to be, it was exactly what it needed to be. And God was faithful.
Now, Cliff and Darlene, you all, known you since college, Darlene, and Cliff since high school. Cliff and I are roommates, and you all were living in Columbus, right?
Yep.
At the time. And so we talked somewhere in that late 97, early 98 too, after this started rolling before we moved. As you all heard about it, I mean, what all did you think? And then even after you moved, or not even like after you moved, but also just driving down, you were commuting for a while down this direction for church. I mean, what kind of feelings did you have in thinking through having a new church here in Lancaster?
For me, it was exciting. So we were living in Hilliard. We were going to Columbus Vineyard. Had been attending there for several years at that point. And when we found out you were coming back and to start this down here, it was exciting for me. My hometown, and just being part of the Columbus Vineyard was awesome. It was really awesome. I mean, the worship was phenomenal. Rich and Nathan. I mean, just everything about Columbus Vineyard still is incredible up there. But this was different because this is home. And so to come back and to get in at the ground level, basically at the very beginning, to kind of be there and just to help build that from the beginning, it's something that the Columbus Vineyard could never offer me. And just to know that we could have an impact in my hometown, to me, was pretty awesome. That this is something this town at that point just didn't have, and was so desperately needing.
To kind of see, how dedicated and passionate Cliff was about this, it kind of helped me, but then still, I was still nervous because, I came from a very small town, and, there's like thousands of people at the Columbus Vineyard, and so that was kind of hard to get adjusted to, not knowing everyone. And there's still some people here I don't know.
Sure.
It's grown so much, but I think it was a great move coming to Lancaster, and just, all these friendships that we've had, and the continued ones that we are going to have, so.
Now, out of everybody here, Ryan and MJ, all of us knew each other beforehand, but we didn't know you when we moved down, and then I think almost a year in, the summer of '99. Is that right? And what was the first thing you came to? Did you come to a service? Did you come to a special event? What was the first thing?
It was a small group at Jane Amy's that we came to the first time, but it was right before Sunday evenings were starting.
You did. I had to work that night.
Yeah.
And then there was something at Donato's on the west side, like an interest meeting after that.
Wow.
I worked then too. Well, I worked, and so he went and ended up calling me. I was at the hospital. I worked second shift, and he called me, and he's like, "You're not gonna believe this. These guys, they're our age, and they're starting this church, and it's so great. It's gonna be so good." And I thought, oh my, I've never heard him talk like this. Church, we are in.
Going back to what we talked about before, she was like, he's interested in
We're
church.
going.
Yeah,
Let's go there.
that's cool.
I think that's from early on. That was one thing that impressed me, was like, these people are interested in real life. Like, they're asking hard questions, and I don't have anyone in my life that's doing that, Like, you made me think, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I can either run away from this or press in, because this is really cool,
Let's think through a little bit about our just favorite stories or anything from the early days, just any memories that you have.